In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can make a lot of money selling products and services to podcasters. Hey guys, Satish, Gaire here from Dallas, Texas. You know what today is? Today is Friday. Now, every Friday is a good Friday in this channel. You know why? Because every Friday, I teach you a new innovative way to make money. So if you love money and if you want more of that in your bank account, click that red button. It's free. And when you click that button, what's going to happen is every Friday, I'm going to show you a new innovative way to make more money. Deal? Do that right now. Cool. Let's move on. So today's topic is how to become a podcast consultant, brought to you by sidehustle.net. Sidehustle.net will allow you to find new ways to make money. You should go up here, put your email here. Put your email here at the bottom as well, because I share so much content here that I can't even share on YouTube. So it's a win-win situation for all of us. So make sure to go there and put your email. Okay, cool. Let's move on. So how do you become a podcast consultant? Now, what is a podcast? So number one, so a podcast is similar to, you might have known this. So a podcast is similar to a radio station. Instead, it's on demand. So instead of me wanting to listen to a specific show at 2 o'clock at night, I can listen to it whenever I want through an app. Now, chances are you have a phone, iPhone, Android, and on it there should be an app for podcasts. Try it out. Search for Apple Podcast. There should be one, okay? And the point is, there is a podcast for everything. Now, number two, why should you choose to become a podcast consultant? Number one, how many podcasters do you know? A lot, okay? Your cousin might be one. Here's the thing. If I throw this out my window right now, I shouldn't, but if I do it right now, it's gonna hit the head of a podcaster, right? So there's so many podcasters out there. This is a wild west, and at this time, and this is a perfect time to enter this industry. Okay, so a lot of people are podcasters. They're all looking for your advice. Now, why should you become a podcast consultant? Now, a lot of people out there, they think they are podcast consultant just because they have a podcast. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything, because here's what I've seen, right? So when an average podcaster goes out and tries to teach, do consulting, it doesn't work, okay? So you have to come from a marketing background if you want to really nail it, okay? I'm gonna show you how to do it the proper way, okay? We're gonna learn about how to become an expert on podcasting, how to help a podcaster, and where to find clients and how to charge them in this video here. So we ready for this? So let's move on. So why do podcasters hire a consultant? A single reason. A single reason is money. Think about it, right? You're like, a lot of podcasters might tell you, hey, I want to get more downloads. It's for a hobby. But at the end of the day, it's all about making money. So it might be through doing brand awareness or hobby, whatever, right? At the end of the day, every podcaster wants to make money, and I'll tell you one thing, okay? 98% of the podcasts, they're not making money. You know why they're not making money? Because they don't have anyone to give them the right advice. And I want to invite you to become a podcast consultant so you can enlighten podcasters and teach them how to actually do it better. And I'm going to show you that right now, okay? Let's move on. So, how do you actually become an expert in podcasting? So you don't know what a podcast is, but you want to become a consultant. How do you do that? So what you do is you go to podvalley.net. Podvalley, can somebody put it out here? podvalley.com. And once you go here, I want you to do two things, okay? I want you to take these two courses, starting a podcast. Now, this course is free, no charge, right? Once you take this course, trust me, you will know everything that you need to know about a podcast. Pretty much A to Z on how to start one, how to do pretty much everything. It's not too long. It's about 2 hours. But again, keep in mind, you're investing in yourself. So you need to go over this course. It's free. Now, that's step number one, okay? Now, step number two is you need to click on the second course, monetization. This course will teach you how to actually make money through podcasts. Now, you need to know that, because as an expert, when you get a client, they're like, oh, how do I monetize my podcast? You can't go back you can go back, but you gotta know a few things on top of your head. And you can do that by taking these courses. So make sure to take these courses. That's step number 1, okay? You also need to be familiar with how social media works. So be active on Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Quora, those websites. I've just listed a few. There are others as well. Know how to use them on advantage for a podcaster. Okay, learn those things. Now, be different. Now, like I said, most of the podcast gurus or consultants, they don't know anything about marketing. They don't know how marketing works. Okay, they think that having more downloads is better than having email subscribers. I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. But it's your job as a consultant to advise and enlighten the podcaster. So here's what you do. So, a lot of podcasters, they're focused on, getting that download number up. They're like, why am I not making money? You're not making money because you are focused on just getting those RSS subscribers or downloads. You don't have your customers' data. You don't. So when they're sending out, people to listen to their podcast on Spotify or iTunes, right? They're not helping themselves. They're helping them. They're helping Spotify. They're helping Google. They're helping, iTunes. They're not actually capturing data of their client, their listeners. So if they have that data, they can do so much. They can actually make money. So you should always encourage them to collect emails. Now, how do you do that? So you do that by a couple of things. So number 1 is website. So if they have a website, make sure there is a way to capture emails. Now, if they don't have a website, what you can do is you can go to Pod Valley. You can click on Claim Your Podcast. You can go up here, and what you can do right here is very simple. You can go and find their podcast, type their first and last name, and you should be able to find them. And hey, let me actually find a random podcast so it makes more sense. I don't know. Okay, what's gonna show up? This random one here. Okay, now find their podcast and claim it. It's free. Now, once they claim it, what they can do is they can use this website ready to go to share it. So when they share this, what happens is people listen on Spotify, their podcast app, all these other channels. On top of that, they can opt in. So they're collecting email list. They can also share. They can also listen to a podcast directly from the website or mobile phone as well. So encourage people to do this. This is 100% free. And not only that, right? You will be, you want to do that because, you will be seen as an expert. Okay, do that. Okay. In my podcast, it doesn't come with any branding, so you can go ahead and advertise it, do whatever you want. Cool. Let's move on. So make sure to teach them about website and email capture. Now, I also recommend Podmeo because Podmeo, it's one of the hosting companies. One of the hosting companies allows you to actually capture emails, like email addresses of people directly from a player. Now, no other company does that. I highly recommend Podmeo. I mean, there's no other hosting company that does it, but I super recommend it. Take a look at Podmeo and maybe recommend it to them. And you are seen as an expert. Does that make sense? Cool. Let's move on. Now, also show them, teach them how to make their podcast go viral. Now, a couple of ways to do that is, teaching them how to structure a podcast. Okay, what to say, when to say it, and all that stuff can be found on my channel. If you go to my channel, if you click on podcasting, one of the really cool is how to create a popular podcast right here. Watch it, master it. Okay, it works every single time. Now, so those are a few things. Now, how do you actually help them and what do you charge them for? So you can do a couple of things. First thing that you can do is, let's say somebody wants to be they want to open up their podcast, they want to start one. Now, you can be the first guy, you can be the one to actually set it up for them from A to Z. Now, remember, I taught you how to do that on this podcast, starting a podcast. So watch this course and you'll learn how to start a podcast. So set up a podcast for them, and you can charge like $500,000. And once you charge that, you can charge them a monthly fee to maintain it as well. Now also help them improve their cover art. So cover art is this thing right here, this picture right here. You can help them improve it. How do you do that? You can do that by pretty much hiring somebody. So if you don't know how to create these graphics, I recommend you go to Upwork.com, put a job out, and you'll find the top class. Okay. The reason I don't recommend Fiverr is because you get what you pay for, and it's not always the best. So I recommend Upwork, Freelancer. Those are very nice sites where you can get really nice graphics. And I also recommend 99 Designs as well, a really cool place where you can actually run a competition on creating that cover. So try these sites out on how to, if you need help with cover arts. The idea is, not to master everything. You should know how to delegate things, okay, as a consultant. You shouldn't be spending time creating cover art. You should delegate it, okay? Do that. Number one rule, delegate it, okay? Now, you can also help them edit their podcast, right? How do I do that? Again, use Upwork, freelancer.com, and delegate it. Now, if you really want to learn it, you can, but I wouldn't, because I want to focus my time on consulting clients and advising clients. You don't want to waste time on learning how to edit a podcast, okay? Okay, next move on. So I'll teach them how to monetize, and you can do that by simply taking this course right here. Simple as that, okay? Help them get more downloads and listens. How do you do that? Again, I put out some videos here, but the idea is help them share it on social media, help them find guests who are willing to share their podcast, help them with the structure. That'll do it, okay? Now, you should advise them on sponsorship, contracts, all of that. I've done it all for you, okay? So you go to Pod Valley, you click on tools, you can find all these contracts, emails, all of it is right here. So download it, use it, okay? It's free, okay? You don't have to say, I got it from Pod Valley. You can use it. This is for you. I made this for you, so make sure to utilize it, okay? Now, where do you find clients though? So a couple of ways. One way is iTunes, straight up. So what you need to do is iTunes, podcast. Okay, let's go to podcast search and go here, or podcast.apple.com. Once you go up here, so find the topic that you are most interested in because you know how to talk about it. What I usually do, I like to go to business section and find podcasts who actually are doing good. So they have still a bit of money here and there, and they know. So that if they're on the top, they might be making some money here and there, and you can help them improve the podcast and make some money as well. So that's one way. You go up here, you find their contact information and contact them. Okay, makes sense. Simple as that. So go here. Just an example. It's an NPR. You don't want to contact them. Find like independent ones. So for example, White Coat Investor, so pretty good. You can go ahead and search them up, and hopefully we'll find a website for them. The recording is running a little delayed here, but you get the idea. Okay, there you go. So we found their website, and you should be able to contact them and show them, hey, I can fix your, take a look at this. So their cover art is ugly, it sucks, okay? There's too many words, it looks overcrowded. It doesn't do it. So having a website like this, it looks fine here, but on a phone you can't even make it out. And what's the point of putting all that text? Doesn't make sense. So you gotta inform them, and you'll learn all of that on the course. So make sure to take it. iTunes. Number 2 is through Facebook groups. What you do is you go to Facebook, right? And you go ahead and find podcast groups, and let me go and find some here. You can go to Pod Valley, let it load. So you can go to Pod Valley Podcaster group. That's one. You can go there and you can find podcaster. Just search up podcast podcasting support groups. There's so many of these, right? So go there, join them. You'll find people looking for help. And when they're looking for help, go ahead and offer them free advice for like 5-10 minutes. And go ahead, once you go ahead and get to know them, what their podcast is, and once you go ahead and provide them with free advice, then go ahead and see if you can help them out. Make sense? You can also use YouTube. How do you do that? So to do that, all you gotta do is you go to YouTube, and the way I do it, it's pretty simple. Podcast episode, 18, random, okay? You can put 19 too, it doesn't matter. A podcast, So once you do this, you'll be able to find these podcasters who have put their podcast on YouTube, and you know who these people are, you see their faces, and then you go ahead and contact them. Does that make sense? Cool. Let's do that. So that's how you find podcasters. Now, lastly, so how much do you charge people? How much do you charge people, right? How much do you charge people? So you can charge people a set fee plus monthly fee. So usually what I do is, since people know me, so I charge a higher fee, but initially when you're starting out, you might have to charge a little lower fee. So I recommend $500 to $1,000 like a set fee, and then charge hourly or per on demand. So that usually works out. You can also opt in to do a fixed fee if you're comfortable with that as well. And recommended platform, if you are looking to create a subscription to charge people, I highly recommend directpay.io. Go there, set up a free account, and once you do that, you'll be able to charge people, do all these cool things. Yeah, so go to DirectPay, and you can charge people on a monthly basis or one-time fee. It's all up to you. Makes sense? So yeah, that was it. Make sure to follow what I said. I'll put a link on the bottom so you can get the checklist as well. And if you do those things, you should be fine. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comments, and I will personally get back to you ASAP. Now keep in mind, guys, if you haven't subscribed till now, this is a good moment to subscribe right now, because every Friday I teach you a new innovative way to make money. So that could be online, offline, many awesome ways. And I've been a marketer, and I own software companies, so I know a thing or two, and I want to share that with you through this channel. So share this video with your friend, because if you do that, they're gonna love you for this. Okay, so if you taught them how to make money, they're gonna love you, not me, because I'm just the messenger, right? If you share this video and they find it useful, you are their hero. I'm just a guy who was a messenger who taught them something. You'll be their go-to guy and their hero. So do that. Thank you so much. God bless you.